Good morning, everybody. It's Vicky with Dementia with Grace. I hope everybody out there is doing great. And I hope that you have found us through looking for an answer to a question, and I hope that we have the answers for you. This series is the ABCs of Dementia FAQs. We go over a letter of the alphabet every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday until the end of this series, and we talk about the most queried things on Google, Pinterest, and YouTube, the most common search engines. Today we are to the letter M, and we are talking about mood. Mood and behavior changes are probably two of the things that are most troublesome to dementia caregivers. In fact, the two reasons why people are admitted into a care facility are incontinence and mood and behavior issues. When the family can no longer manage the continence care at home, and they can no longer they can no longer manage the mood and behavior issues. So today we're going to talk about mood changes, mood swings, just any moodiness, just all of that, and how it manifests in a person with dementia. So here we go. Mood is managed in your brain. And as you know, dementia is not just memory loss. It's all kinds of cognitive changes. We talk about MCCJRI, mood, concentration, critical thinking, judgment, reasoning, and insight. And if y'all hear a little kitty cat in the background, that is my Contessa, and she wants to be on camera, and she gets on camera any way she can. Okay, so memory, concentration, critical thinking, judgment, reasoning, and insight. It's all cognitive impacts, right? Mood and behavior, because they are modulated, managed in your brain, that is also a component in many people with dementia. Not everybody with dementia has mood and behavior issues, but a lot of people do. And let me say this other caveat. There are people who had mood and behavior issues before they ever had dementia. And so those, if they were always an anxious person, if they were always a hard to please, narcissistic, kind of personality, sometimes that is magnified in a person with dementia. Sometimes it diminishes, but sometimes it's magnified. So that's another point that you need to know. People with frontal lobe involvement right here, they lose their ability to manage their behaviors, their impulsivity, all of that sits right here, and they lose that ability to mind their manners, basically, and things that they would never say to anybody else, or maybe they were in a bad mood, but they could put on a show in front of their colleagues or in front of their church members, or in something like that. They just can no longer put on that show. They cannot hide those emotions, those moods, those kind of things. So you have that manifestation. People with dementia also are dealing with lots of losses, and so they are, maybe situationally depressed. Maybe they never had depression in their life, but now that they're dealing with a chronic illness that is also a terminal illness that is robbing them of their personality, maybe, or certainly their memories, certainly their ability to make rational, good decisions and be the breadwinner for the family, and all of those things, that can cause situational depression, and that's a mood issue. Anxiety, if they are in the stages where they just don't quite know what is going on, where people are supposed to be, where they're supposed to be, that's very anxiety producing. So there's anxiety as a component of that. Lots and lots of things. I would say that probably the most common mood issues that you will deal with are depression and anxiety. And both of those things can be managed medically through rather innocuous, kinds of, as far as the side effects go. An antidepressant may be just the key. What I want to stress and bring home is the fact that if there is some depression, if there's some, and depression is not just sadness, it is it is lethargy, where they once loved to go somewhere and now they don't. They once loved to be in the middle of things and now they don't. They once loved to read and now they don't. That's a component of the dementia and not being able to concentrate and things, but it can cause a mood issue. Anxiety can be managed through anti-anxiety medicines. Some of the antidepressants have an anxiety component to them, and that's usually better than a straight benzodiazepine. Benzodiazepines are actually contraindicated in the elderly because they can cause falling and things like that. And again, I'm not against medicine, but you have to also make sure that you're not having the cascade effect of medicine where you start a medicine and then you have to give another medicine to treat the side effects of the other medicine, right? Or something like that. So you have to be aware when you're prescribing, when you have a doctor on board, that everybody is looking at the whole case when they're prescribing. Lots of things to talk about. The way that you can naturally try to boost a mood or change a mood is to get them involved in something that they really enjoy, and that's where the gather tool comes in. I'm the author of the book, The Dementia with Grace, a new positive way of dealing with behaviors in people with dementia, but it also deals with mood. The gather form that's in there, and you can go to my website, dementiawithgrace.com, and print off you have to put in your email, they'll send you a PDF, get a free PDF of the gather tool, and it's a 12-page social history where you ask them questions related to their life and get their answers. And what I have found, I started doing it just because I felt like I needed to know my people in the unit better. What it yielded was a rich tapestry of information that we could talk about when maybe they were, anxious or sad or preoccupied or whatever, fill in the blank. We could then talk about those things that they really brightened up about on their social history. If they really love talking about their time in the military, if they really love talking about their wedding, if they really love talking about their second career, maybe after they retired from their first career and what they did in retirement, they would love to talk about bird watching or fly fishing or anything like that. Running marathons. We had a lady who ran marathons, and she loved talking about becoming a runner. After her kids were grown, she became a runner and ran several prestigious marathons, and she would love to talk about that. And so anytime that she was anxious or she was down on herself, if she was just, I can't remember anything and I'm no good to anybody and all of that kind of moody kind of talk, I would say, but you know what she did do? She learned to run. She developed a running practice, in her 40s, and she ran the Boston Marathon. And she would smile and she would kind of, yeah, I did. And then she would talk about it, and it was just fabulous because we reintroduced her to herself and said, hey, no, you might have forgotten, what you had for lunch yesterday, but sister, you ran the Boston Marathon. And so it would be like, yeah, I did. So anyway, it can help in so many ways. Just being involved in their life, interested in their life, reintroducing them to themselves when they need it. It can work wonders. And you may have to do it several times a day. But that's okay. Anyway, I encourage you to go to dementiawithgrace.com and print off that gather tool and ask those questions. And there's a instruction sheet that goes with it, and I talk about go where the questions lead. You don't have to necessarily ask one question after the other as a battery of tests. You can just get going on a conversation and get them talking about themselves, and that can absolutely help with mood and behavior. And I talk about all that in the book. But I just wanted to talk about mood today because we are in the letter M of the ABCs of dementia FAQs. I don't know what we're going to talk about Friday. That is the letter N, but I'll figure something out. And tomorrow, I do a video Monday through Friday on this channel, and tomorrow we're talking about the Area Agency on Aging. It's a regional, national program, and if you don't know about it, subscribe so that tomorrow when I post the video, you will get the information so that you can hear all about this fabulous, fabulous agency, okay? All right. I will talk to y'all soon. If you have any questions, leave them down below. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions you have about mood or behavior. And if you don't have have a support group, please come and join us on the Dementia with Grace Caregiver Support Group over on Facebook. We would love to have you. We're more than 1,000 strong now, so that's a lot of geniuses in one area talking about how they take care of their person with dementia, and we would love to have you have your experience represented. All right? Okay. I will talk to y'all soon. Love y'all. Thanks. Bye. Mwah.